I've created an asset package called inScopeBars, and this asset package contains functionality for creating different kinds of bars in a very easy way. You can create a lot of different bars, for example health bars, casting bars, menu bars, and so on. This package makes it very easy for you to create these bars because it only takes a few minutes for you to create a health bar, for example. You only need to write 5 lines of codes, and then this asset package actually does the rest of the work for you. This video is not a tutorial in any kind, it's just a demonstration of what this asset package can do and a little bit about how it works. But you can still learn something if you choose to buy this asset package, because the package actually contains all the scripts I've created for making this package, which means that all the scripts will have full line comments, so you'll understand what's written there. And there's no DLL files or anything, just pure code files, so you can see everything under the hood. If you buy the package, you'll get all the code, of course. You'll get a license that gives you the right to use this package in an unlimited amount of private and commercial projects. You also receive free updates, so every time I update this package, if I get some requests or something, you'll also get a mail about this update and you can download it. You'll also receive a document that contains some information about how this package works, all the documentation about it, and how to use these different bars in your own project. You also have full support from me, of course, so if you have some problems with this or you have some questions about it, well, then just write me and I'll get back to you within 24 hours, and we'll of course figure out how to solve your problem. The package is a pure script package. The graphic I have used in that package is Unity's own graphics. The graphics that you see on the screen here is not included in the package because I don't have the rights to sell these graphics, but I have added a link to this package I've used, this sprite package I've used in this this little video, and it's a royalty-free package, so you can just go there and download it. To demonstrate what this asset package can do, you can see that I have a health bar here in the middle of my screen, and if I reduce my health, you'll see that it easily shows how much health I have left here, and I can regain my health, of course, to if I get healed up. Other than that, I also have a casting bar, so if I press a button to cast, you'll see that it fades in, and when it's done it fades out. And this is of course adjustable. You can also make sure that your casting bar is on the screen 100% of the time here. Other than that, I've also used a script to create a menu bar, so if I click this, you'll see that a menu appears here where there is 2 options. You can click on sound and click on the music. It has no functionality right now. So in this little video I'll show you how I've created these different things and how it actually works. So when you have acquired the inScopeBars, you just need to load it into a Unity project. So open your project, it can be a new project, it can be an old project that you want to add the bars to, and then double click on the asset package you just downloaded. When you double click on the package, this import window would open, and then you'll have the different parts of inScopeBars. You'll have the editor part and all the scripts that makes everything work, and then the prefabs. And when you have that, just click the import button. When the script is imported, you'll have this inScope menu in the top here, and if this menu doesn't show up, just right click on your asset folder and click the re-import button, and then the menu up here should definitely show up. So the inScopeBar package is a pure scripting package, and it doesn't come with any graphics. The only graphics in it is the graphics that are in Unity as standard. I'm not any good at making graphics, and I'm not an artist in any way. I'm just a programmer, so instead of including some bad graphics in this package, I've chosen to link to a royalty-free site where you can get those sprites that I'm using in this tutorial. And that link will be in the video description below. So I'll show you how to add these bars to the scene, and then I'll show you how to change the graphics to look a little better than the standard graphics that I'm providing you with. But this package is basically something that makes it very easy for you to make some bars with some functionality. So let's start making a health bar, and to do that you just click on the inScope menu, go to inScopeBars, and then you click inScopeBar with base. This adds this ugly bar to your scene, and this bar is going to be health bar. So first of all, we need to add some kind of object in our game that has a health. So right click on your asset folder and then make a new script, and I'm gonna call it player script. So this script is gonna contain the health for our player. I'm just gonna make a public float health, and I'm gonna make a public float max health, and a public float minimum health. These variables is what our bar needs to look for, and our bar is only looking for float variables. So whenever you make some variables for the inScopeBars, you need to make it of the type float. Other than that, we also need to make the bar. So public inScopeBar health bar, and we need to execute this bar so that our health will be updated all the time whenever we play our game. So in our update, we just need to say health bar dot execute. And that's all the code you need to write to create a health bar. Just save this and jump back into Unity. Then we need to create the player. I'm just going to create an empty game object here. I'm just going to call it player. And this player needs the player script on it, so drag the player script onto it. And then you'll see we have the health. Start with 100 health. Maximum health is also going to be 100, and the minimum health is going to be 0. Down here we have our health bar we need to add to our player. So click on the inScope canvas, go to the base, and go to the fill, because the fill has all this functionality on it, and it's that fill we need to add to our health bar as our health bar, because that's the inScope bar. So drag the fill from here to our player, then click on fill, and then you'll see there's lots of information here. So there are different modes in inScopeBars. There is one that is based on value, which means that the bar will reflect the current value, for example your health. So if you have 50% health, it's going to show 50% health. It's time mode, which make the bar progress over a time. For example, a casting bar, you want to show a cast of 1 second, it's going to progress over a second. And there's toggle mode that can be used for different kinds of menus. For example, a toggle menu, which I'll show you later. So when you click the menu button, it's going to toggle out. Next time you click it, it's going to toggle in. But for now, leave it at value mode. Down here we have the direction of the bar, which direction it should move, from left to right or right to left or whatever. And down here we have the values, and this is what is interesting, because we just made those 3 values inside our script. So take your player here with the script on it and drag it onto the script to monitor. When you do that, you'll see that you need to select the variables it needs to monitor from. So the current health is health, the minimum is going to be the minimum health, and the maximum is going to be the max health. As you can see here, I got an error here that said the script to monitor has not been set in the inspector. And basically it's warning me about that this script here wasn't set when I just clicked the fill before. So it just tells you to set the player script there, or the script you're going to monitor. So now that I've done that, I can go to my player, make sure that my fill is there, and I can run my game. And as you can see, I already made a health bar that reflects the health of the player. If I click on my fill here, my player, and change the current health to 50, you'll see that the health bar goes down to 50 instead. If I set it to 10, it'll go down to 10. And if I set it back to 100, it'll go back up to 100. So there's some different settings here on the value mode. There is, if I click on the fill, you'll see that there is a lerp, and that's what makes the bar smoothly transition from one position to another. If I remove the lerp and go here, see that it just has 100% health. If I change the health to 50, for example, it just goes down to 50 right away without lerping. So if you have a game where the bar needs to reflect the current value constantly, then don't put lerp on it. But if you have a game like this where it's a health bar and you want it to look a little smooth, then just leave the lerp on. Other than that, there's also a fade option. If I put lerp off here, on again, and enable fade, well, then the bar is going to fade out when it starts, and when it starts to move, like it needs to update something, well, then it fades into the screen. And this fade time basically shows how long time it should take for the bar to fade in or out. So now I have 1 second for fading, so when I start my game, it's going to disappear and appear right away, and it fades in on the screen. If I leave it out, then it's going to start fading out whenever the bar is done lerping from one position to another. Now it's faded out. So if I change my health back to 50, it'll fade back in, and now it's at 50%, and it's going to fade out again whenever it stops moving. So the fade is maybe not the best thing to use on a health bar, but you might want to use it on a casting bar or something else. So I'm just going to disable the fade and keep the loop on. So if you go to the player script here, you'll see that there was that maximum health and minimum health. And you can basically change that during your game. Let's say that you gain a power up or something so you get more health. Then you can change the maximum health to 200 instead. So it will reflect that in here, that your health is 100, but your maximum is 200. And you can put your health to a maximum of 200 and it goes up. If you put it over 200, 250 for example, it won't show more than the maximum here on the bar because it's getting clamped in the background. So you have 250 health, but it's only reflect as 100% on your bar. It's not going over the edge. So right now my bar is very ugly and I want to update the graphics a little so it looks a little better for my game. And I already added my sprites here in a folder. You can do the same. And I want to update the graphics, so I'm then click on the fill here, change this color to white, and I'm gonna change the source image to that blue fill here. I'm just gonna set native size. Background I'm gonna click on, change the color to white as well. I don't want any tint on it. Then I'm gonna pick the color here. Let's see, this is the background. I'm gonna set the native size, and the base I'm gonna do the same. Click the base bar here and set the color to white as well. Gonna set the native size. Okay, so the only thing I need to do now is to place this this background here on top of the base, and then just click on my fill here and select the direction, then jumps up to the right position here. So if I play my game now, you'll see that my bar looks way better because there are some decent graphics on it now, and it still reflects the health as it did before. 50, it goes down to 50 and so on. So one more thing, you can pick the bar's direction. Now it comes in from the left and goes towards the right. Here you can select the direction by saying, for example, I want it to go left instead. So I play my game, jumps to the other side and goes in from the right towards the left, and the same goes for up and down. And as you can see, whenever I change my health here, it goes down in the opposite direction because I just picked my direction to be left. So I want to add a little more visual effect here. So I want to go to my filling here and add a little heart here so it indicates that this is my health bar, because in a second I'm going to add a casting bar as well. So I'm just going to click on my base here, right click on it, press UI, and then add an image. And this image is just going to be this heart here. Set native size. Gonna move it to the edge here, and then I'm gonna tilt it a little. And now I have a health bar with a heart on, so it looks a little better. I'm just gonna rename this to heart. So when I play it, you'll see that the health bar still works. And as you can see here, when I have maximize and play on, it still works. Everything scales with screen sizes. Whenever I change the screen size here, everything works fine. As you can see, it still moves around. If I go for 5 by 4, it still moves perfectly without overshooting or without going over the edge. Yes, actually I want to change this direction to right because it looks better from the right. Now I want to add a casting bar to my game. So I'm going to go to inScope again, inScopeBars, bar with base, just move bar with base. Gonna move it a little down, I think, because I want my casting bar to be in the bottom middle of the screen, for example. And to add a casting bar, we need the player to have a casting time. So I'm gonna double click on my player here, and I'm just gonna make a public float casting time. And I'm gonna make a casting bar as well, because now I have a reference to the health bar, but I also need a reference to the casting bar. So public inScope bar, casting bar, and I'm gonna cast my spell when I press space. So if input.getKey down keycode.space casting bar dot execute. Yes. So this is all the code we need to write. Go back into Unity. So I'm just gonna rename this inScope canvas to casting canvas, so it's easier to recognize it from the health bar. Just this one is just gonna be health canvas. Okay, so now we added some casting time for our player. We need to put it, let's say it takes 2 seconds to cast a spell. And this can be changed from your game. Whenever you click another button to change to cast a spell, you can change this to the casting time of that spell. So we have a casting bar here we also need to put. That's the fill of our casting canvas. If we click on our fill here, you'll see that we have some different settings here. We should put time mode here in the current bar mode. If it's not already set, then click the time mode here, so it's based on that casting time. Drag the player to the script to monitor, and then select the progress time, should be the casting time here. And if we enable fade, it's going to fade out when it's not casting, and this is the time it's going to fade. Out reset and start at end is going to be, I'm going to show you in a few seconds. But for now, everything is set up and we can cast our spell. So if I press space, bar appears and fades out when it's done casting, as you can see here. So out reset basically resets the bar. So if I don't fade it out and have out reset on, you'll see that whenever I've cast my spell, it resets here when it's done casting. If I don't have out reset on and cast my spell, it will stay filled whenever the spell is done casting, as you can see here, and then when I cast my next spell, it's going to reset. Start at end makes the bar start open, like at its end point. So now it's full from the beginning when I open it, and then I press the space button, and then it goes up there. So that might be handy in some situations if you want to indicate some reverse cooldown or something. As I did before, I also want to add some better graphics to my casting bar. So the fill needs to be white. Gonna add the, sorry, not the background, of course, the blue bar fill here. And background here, it's gonna be the background, it's gonna be white. And my base here, it's gonna be white, and it's gonna be the base of the bar. I can just set native size here, and I can set the native size on this one. And then this native size should also be set, yes. And then I just take the background and move it in the correct position here. And then I take the fill and click the set direction. And as I did before, I also want to add a little image to it. So right click on base, UI image, and I'm just going to add a, what do I want? Lightning. Set native size and then put it on the side here. Okay, there's a casting bar. Tilt it a little. And then I'm just going to put it as it, I want it to fade out. Take 1 second. And I don't want to auto reset or start at end. Or actually, I want to auto reset. So if I run my game, press the spacebar, the bar is going to fade in and disappear when it's gone. Actually, it looks bad with auto reset, so I'm just going to go back here and move auto reset and play it again. It's going to look a little more smooth then, I guess. Yeah. You can see if I spam it, it doesn't get to fade out because it starts casting right away. Okay, so that was health bar and a casting bar. Next, I'm going to show you how to create a drop-down menu by using the toggle mode bar. To create my drop-down menu, I'm going to use an inScope bar with a button. So go to the inScope menu and click inScope bar with a button. You can also use other kind of bars to make a toggle menu, but I want a button to toggle it in and out, so I'm going to use that one with a button. So select the button in the background and move it away from the original health bar here. And then I'm going to create a new script called menu script, because I don't want the player to handle the bars in my game. Then take the menu and drag it onto my camera, for example. Double click on the menu to open it. And then I want to create a public inScope bar called menu bar. And I want to create a function to toggle this, so public void toggle menu. and I'm just going to say menu bar.execute here. And that's all the code we need for creating a toggle menu. If we go back into our game here, you'll see that we have a button with a event on click here. So take your camera with the script on, drag it there, go to functions, menu script, and select the toggle menu. Then go to your camera, take the fill of the inScope bar in the menu, just rename this to menu canvas. And then take the fill and drag it onto the camera here, find the camera, so we have a reference to the bar. And then if you play your game, you'll see that you'll be able to toggle it by clicking the button. And if you click back, it's going to toggle back. So there are some different settings here. If you click on the fill here, you'll see that there's toggle time it's going to take for the bar to toggle. Put it at 2 seconds. See that it goes way faster here. And then you also have the background. You can click on the background here and say that show mask graphics. You can unclick that. So if you do that, then you won't have the background before the bar comes out here. Okay, so that's the functionality. So let's add some graphics to this so it looks a little better. So for setting up the graphics, I'm just gonna click on my background here and show the mask again, because it's gonna be easier for me to set up the graphics. First of all, I want to change the button. So click on the button, and then I'm gonna find this setting here. I'm just gonna set the native size, and for the fill, I want to take the blue here, set native size, and I'm gonna reset the color to white. So out here the fill, and then I'm gonna have the background here. I'm gonna take the same sprite. I want the background and the fill to be the same sprite, because I want the shape to fit. So I'm just gonna make this white again. Set native size. To find the background where it's hiding down here. Just gonna move it up so I can play around with it here. So maybe I want my bar to start there or something on my button. Just gonna move the fill button and background up, so I want my menu here. And then I'm gonna click my fill and set my direction to be down. Yes. And now I'm gonna take my mask on my background and move it. Then if we run it again, see that I can click, then my menu comes down here and it goes up again. So it looks like it comes out of this button here. You could add some buttons to the background. Let's say that we have some different buttons to the fill. I mean, if we add UI button and another button, UI button, and one is going to be sound or something, and the other one's going to be music. Sound and music. Don't want any text on them. Can take these and set the sprites as, for example, this is music. Where's the sound? There. And this one could be music. If I go to the music here, and then I set the native size again. Always set the native size. So where they placed on top of each other, I want them to be apart. Here. Then if I run my game again, click them, you'll see there's a sound and a music on them, and you can put functionality into these buttons, of course. So there you actually have it. You have some simple way of setting up different things in your game, and as you can see, you can change the direction. For example, I can also take my health bar here and say that my direction should be down, for example. This is going to look stupid, but you can actually do that. So you can see it comes from top and goes down, and you can do the other way around, of course, if you want that. Anyway, this is my newest asset package. I hope you like it and that you want to get it. If you get it, if you buy it and you download it. Then if you have any suggestions you want added, just tell me, I'm gonna add it then. If you find some bugs or anything or something that doesn't work as you want it to, just tell me and I'm gonna update it, because if you have bought it, then you're gonna get every single update from now on from this asset package. So thanks for watching and taking your time to look into this package.